You ever hear the sound of a soul cracking? It's not dramatic. No violins. No lightning strike. It's quiet. It sounds like a coffee maker sputtering its last drip while your wife, in high-waisted leggings and zero shame, tells you, "I think we've grown apart." That was Tuesday, but let's rewind a bit. 3 weeks before that serene little quote, I had just come home from a business trip. 3 days in Pittsburgh. Nothing glamorous. Just me, a rented Camry, 2 trade shows, and a hotel bed that felt like it had been forged in the 1970s by a sadist. When I got home, Vanessa, my wife of 15 years and enthusiastic Instagram motivational quote reposter, barely looked up from her phone. "You're back," she said. Not "I missed you." Not even a sarcastic, "Did you bring me something?" Just "You're back." I remember standing there with my suitcase still in hand, realizing she didn't ask how the trip went, or if I was hungry, or if I wanted to sit for a minute after driving 4 hours straight in traffic. Just went right back to scrolling. And that's when it started. Not the affair. No, that had been cooking for a while. What started was the knowing. That little kernel of awareness that something wasn't adding up. The laugh that didn't reach her eyes. The way her voice lifted half a decibel when her phone buzzed. The sudden perfume she hadn't worn since 2016. It was subtle, but I've built entire systems off subtle. I'm a process engineer. I make a living watching patterns. And hers? They were shifting like a bad poker hand. I didn't say anything then. I smiled. I unpacked. I reheated leftovers from 2 nights ago and pretended the Tupperware wasn't already open. I played dumb. Because sometimes playing dumb is the best move in the deck. Now let me give you the character breakdown real quick. Vanessa, my wife, used to be sweet, or at least convincing. Big into alignment, energy, and other vague concepts that conveniently justified her every whim. She sells real estate now, or at least pretends to. Most of her business happens between brunch and her next self-care day. Then there's me. No frills. I build things. I run numbers. I pay bills on time and remember to refill the softener salt. I'm not flashy. I'm not the life of the party. But I show up. Which, apparently, wasn't enough. The shift happened on a Wednesday. I was working late in my home office, going over a report for a client in Arizona, when I heard her in the guest bathroom. She never used that one. I paused. The door was cracked open just enough. Her voice was soft, breathless. "You're so bad. I can't wait till this weekend." I need it again. Then giggling. Muffled. Then silence. I didn't confront her. Not then. I'm not the dramatic type. No yelling. No accusations. I just sat there and listened until the tap ran and she emerged like nothing happened, brushing her hair back like it was just another 10 p.m. skincare ritual. "Want tea?" she asked. "No thanks," I replied, dead calm. Had enough bitterness for one night. She laughed. Thought I was being sarcastic. I wasn't. After that, I started collecting. Not clues, evidence. There's a difference. Clues are for people hoping they're wrong. Evidence is for people who know they're right and just need the receipts. I installed a keylogger. Synced her phone to the old iPad in the guest room. Began checking our joint credit card for odd charges, like that $87 dinner at a seafood place I hate. On a night, she said she had a girls' night. I even set up a filter to forward any text from a number saved under the name Carla Y. Spoiler, Carla Y wasn't real. But her client, Devin, he was very real. It didn't take long. The universe tends to cough up secrets when you stop begging it to lie. One night, I found what I needed, a string of messages from someone saved as D. Not even trying to be clever. "D, you smell like sin." "Vanessa, that's because I'm a bad girl." Poetry, really. And just like that, I had everything I needed to start digging the grave. Not mine, hers. But I wasn't going to yell. I wasn't going to scream or cry or throw plates. That's not how I do things. See, Vanessa thought she was playing chess with a pawn. But she never realized the king was just pretending not to move. You ever look someone in the eye and realize they don't see you anymore? That happened Friday morning. I was making coffee, our usual routine. 2 mugs. Hers had a chipped lip from when she dropped it during a fight about whether or not I was emotionally distant. Spoiler, I was emotionally exhausted, not distant. There's a difference. I poured her cup anyway. Muscle memory. She waltzed into the kitchen wearing those high-rise yoga pants. Hair done like she had somewhere special to be. Which was weird, because she said she was working from home that day. Said she had paperwork and showings to prep. I nodded. "Going somewhere?" I asked. She blinked. Oh, just might meet a client later. Not sure yet. Right. She took her coffee, no kiss, no glance, just scrolled through her phone like I was the barista she'd already tipped in the app. It was almost funny. She was lying to someone who knew how often she rotated her passwords. I had already seen the emails. The hotel booking under her maiden name. The Uber receipts. Even the Venmo note that read, for the massage, winky face from Devin. Devin. Man, even his name sounded like a cologne sample from a magazine that gave you a headache. His Instagram was public. Shirtless car selfies, crypto memes, motivational captions that sounded like a ninth grader got hold of a thesaurus. She left at noon. I'll be back in time for dinner, she chirped, grabbing a beige coat I didn't recognize. The kind of coat you wear when you want to look expensive for someone who doesn't know you lease everything. Take your time, I replied, sipping my coffee. I watched her through the blinds. UberX. Not even black. Guess Devin's investments hadn't paid off yet. But I wasn't idle while she was gone. I had a plan. One step at a time. Step 1. Control the narrative. I contacted an old friend, James. We used to work together back when I still believed loyalty meant something. Now he was a family lawyer with a specialization in high net worth separations. We played racquetball once a month for years. I called in the favor. Tell me what I need, I said. James didn't even hesitate. Full documentation. Finances, communications, anything with timestamps. And if there's infidelity? Good. Judges don't like smug cheaters. Well, I replied, she's been training for that event her whole life. I spent the next few hours organizing everything. Emails, messages, geolocation tags from her shared Apple ID, a Google Drive folder titled Vanessa, a masterclass in disrespect. I wasn't being petty. I was being thorough. Step 2. Secure the finances. We had joined everything. Accounts, credit cards. Even the Amazon Prime subscription was in both names. And let me tell you, divorce isn't about rage. It's about logistics. By 3 p.m., I'd frozen the joint savings and opened a new checking account in my name only. I rerouted my direct deposit, removed her as an authorized user from 3 credit cards, and pulled my name from the Tesla lease she said she'd take over soon. Guess what, Vanessa? It's yours now. Good luck with that balloon payment. Step 3. Plant the seed. That night, she came home with messy hair and the client folder she never opened. Good day, I asked. She blinked, surprised I was still at the table. Busy, she muttered. What about you? I smiled. Just tightening up loose ends. You know how I am. She didn't ask. Of course she didn't. Instead, she poured herself a glass of wine, kicked off her shoes, and flopped on the couch like she hadn't just spent the afternoon playing real estate roleplay in a Marriott suite. I watched her sip her wine, legs draped over the armrest like the queen of someone else's castle. I was thinking, I said casually, maybe we should take a weekend trip. Somewhere private. Quiet. Her eyebrows lifted. Seriously, she asked. Since when do you plan getaways? I shrugged. Thought it might be nice. One last little reset before work picks up again. She smiled, almost suspiciously. You're not, like, mad about anything, are you? No, I said, leaning back. You'd know if I was mad. She laughed. Right. You'd send me a PowerPoint presentation. And we laughed. Together. 2 people who hadn't really spoken in months. But in that moment, I saw it. She still thought she was winning. And that made her blind. Perfect. Because step 4 was already in motion, we booked the cabin that weekend. Technically, I booked it. She just agreed, wide-eyed, thinking maybe this was my desperate attempt to save what little was left between us. That I was trying to fix us. Funny how cheaters always assume you want them back. The cabin was upstate, nothing flashy. Just a 2-bedroom rental near a lake, surrounded by woods. The kind of place you'd list on Airbnb with phrases like unplug and reconnect. I had no interest in reconnecting. I was there to finalize the disconnect. Before we left, I dropped a little breadcrumb. Should we bring our marriage certificate? I asked, casually tossing clothes into a duffel bag. She looked up, startled. What? Why would we bring that? I shrugged. I don't know. Just figured if this turns into one of those emotional getaways, maybe we'd want to, revisit some of our vows. She stared at me for a second too long, then smiled. Tight, fake, hopeful. Sure, she said. We can bring it. Oh, sweetheart. We're not renewing anything. We're revoking. We arrived Friday evening. She wore that beige coat again, her Instagram wife uniform. Posted a selfie on the porch before I could even unlock the front door. Captioned it, "Weekend to reset. Just us. Hashtag love wins." I almost applauded. The nerve. The layers of delusion. The fact that she tagged Devin in the comments accidentally, then deleted it 2 minutes later. But I saw it. Screenshot. Archived. We made dinner that night. Correction, I made dinner. She scrolled through her phone and half-watched a rom-com on her iPad. "This is nice," she said between bites. "We should do this more often." I smiled. "We should." She didn't notice I hadn't touched my plate. The next morning, I went for a walk alone. Told her I needed air. Told her I wanted to clear my head. She smiled, sipped coffee, and waved me off like she was the patient one in the relationship. I walked down to the lake. Calm water. Cold breeze. Peaceful. I took out my phone and checked the folder, Timeline Vanessa. Everything was synced. I had copies of every hotel invoice, every deleted message, every time she claimed she was going to therapy, but ended up at that overpriced sushi place in Midtown, where Devin conveniently ran into her. I didn't just have the knife. I had the fingerprints on the handle, the purchase receipt, and the security footage of her buying it with my credit card. And now it was time to talk. That afternoon, I lit a fire in the cabin, set out her favorite wine, dimmed the lights. Romantic, right? She walked in and raised an eyebrow. "Wow, this is cozy." I nodded. "Have a seat." She sat, all soft edges and guarded curiosity. Her eyes scanned the room like she was trying to figure out if I was about to propose again or explode. "You know," I started, "I've been thinking a lot." "That's dangerous," she smirked. I smiled too. "Yeah, I know. But seriously, I've been thinking about how long we've been together. 15 years. She nodded, slowly. 15 years of routines, shared passwords, joint accounts, and trust. She flinched slightly. Just a flicker. Then caught herself. "Right." I reached into my duffel and pulled out a single sheet of paper. Placed it on the table between us. She looked down. "Is this?" "A receipt," I said. "From the Westlake Marriott. Room 412. 2 guests. 1 king bed. 2 dinners. Champagne upgrade." She swallowed. "I thought you said you were seeing your sister that weekend?" She blinked. I was. Then she canceled last minute and you went alone?" She nodded too fast. "Devin was there too, right?" I said, voice calm. "Just a coincidence." Silence. "I have the text, Vanessa. The one where you told him. Let's just call it our secret spot. I have the location data. The check-ins. The Uber receipts." She stared at me like I'd just spoken in Latin. "I know," I said. "I know about all of it." Still, she didn't speak. "I know about the texts. The second phone. The Venmo payments labeled yoga. The Bluetooth connection to the car I didn't recognize in our driveway that one morning." Her mouth opened slightly, but no sound came out. "You've been treating this marriage like a backup plan," I said. "And that's fine. But here's the thing about backup plans." I leaned forward. "They never get priority." Still nothing from her. Just wide eyes, pale skin, and a hand twitching at the edge of the table like she might reach for something that could explain this all away. But there wasn't anything left to explain. I stood. "We leave tomorrow," I said. "Enjoy the fire." And I walked out into the night. Not angry. Not broken. Just ready for step 5 that we didn't talk the rest of that night. She stayed curled on the couch, wine glass untouched, eyes flicking between the fire and the front door like she was waiting for someone else to walk in. Someone who could explain the scene away. Someone who could convince her this wasn't really happening. But it was. I went to bed early. Not to sleep. I just didn't want to be in the same room with the sound of her breathing. Funny how you can share oxygen with someone for years and still suffocate. The next morning, she acted like none of it happened. Made coffee. Wore my hoodie. Even tried that little half-laugh she used to do when she wanted me to forget something. "You hungry?" she asked. "No," I said. "I'm focused." She blinked. "On what?" I smiled. "You'll see." Step 5. Flip the witnesses. Let me explain something. Cheaters rarely act alone. Not emotionally. Not socially. They build a support system. A little echo chamber of enablers who nod along. Tell them they're brave, liberated, misunderstood. In Vanessa's case, her echo chamber had 3 pillars. Celeste, her realtor friend with more Botox than empathy. Zane, her personal trainer who made it everyone's business that he did CrossFit. And her mother, a retired narcissist with a diploma in guilt tripping. I started with Celeste. I invited her to coffee the week before the cabin trip, under the pretense of asking about commercial property for a side business. She lit up, always hungry for a deal. Over lattes, I dropped a line mid-conversation. Funny thing, Vanessa said you covered for her while she was in Denver last month. Celeste blinked. Denver? Yeah. She said she stayed at your condo while she closed the Ridge Hill deal. Silence. 1 second. 2. Oh, right. Yeah, that. The hesitation was all I needed. She'd never make it on a witness stand. I smiled. She also said you helped her prep a rental property with a guy named Devin. And Celeste cracked. Okay. Listen, I didn't know she was lying to you. I figured you knew. Did you? No. Would you testify to that in court? Her face went white. Wait, testify. No worries, I said, sipping my drink. Just asking hypothetically. That's when she got quiet. Checked her watch. Said she had to go. I let her. 2 days later, she texted Vanessa. You need to tell him the truth. I'm out of this. 1 pillar down. Zane was even easier. I sent him a message from a burner account with screenshots of Devin and Vanessa from the Marriott parking lot. Her hands where vows go to die. Captioned, still training her? Looks like she's working out just fine. 2 hours later, he blocked Vanessa on everything. She noticed, of course. Asked me about it while we packed for the trip. I think Zane's being weird, she said. I shrugged. Maybe he's focused. Her mother was the wild card. That woman could guilt her way through a brick wall. So I didn't confront her. I fed her. Fed her the version of events where her daughter was the victim of herself. Printed out Vanessa's credit card statements, redacted mine, and mailed it to her with a note. If you care about her future, you'll tell her to settle. The next morning, Vanessa got a voicemail. Played it in the bathroom. Didn't realize I could hear it from the hallway. You better get your act together before he drags you through court like you're some reality show extra. 3 pillars. All falling. That Monday. We came back from the cabin. Quiet drive. Tense. She didn't speak. I didn't press. She assumed the confrontation was over. That I had expressed my feelings and would now resume life as her emotionally repressed husband who didn't get it. But she didn't understand. This wasn't a confrontation. This was a campaign. And we were in the final phase. Step 6. Let her win. You heard that right. I gave her a victory. Tuesday morning, I left a printed letter on the kitchen table. No header. No sign-off. Just 1 paragraph. Vanessa, I think we've both made mistakes. I don't want this to end in hate. Let's figure out a fair way to separate without lawyers. You can keep the car and the condo. I'll move out next week. Maybe it's better this way. I watched her read it. Her lips twitched. She tried to hide it, but I could see it. Relief. She folded the letter slowly, like a queen folding a treaty after a war she didn't win, but still survived. She said nothing, just nodded. That night, she cooked dinner for the first time in months. Truce, she offered, raising a glass of wine. I lifted mine. Sure. Let her think she'd won. Let her smile. Let her exhale. Because the best part of any illusion is the moment it vanishes. Thursday morning, I made a show of packing a suitcase. Told her I'd be staying at a friend's place for a while. She barely masked her excitement. Even offered to help carry it to the car. You're being mature, she said. I looked at her. Eyes soft, voice calm. You have no idea. Now, here's what she didn't know. While I'd been packing, I'd also been submitting. To the court. To the bank. To the state. I filed for divorce. I submitted proof of infidelity. I froze our joint accounts. Again, only this time, I included screenshots showing she'd been siphoning funds into a secret account under her maiden name. And I had her signature on the tax forms. Which, by the way, named me the sole financial contributor. Translation? I had the leverage, the evidence, the timeline, the witnesses. But most importantly, I had her trust, just long enough to bury her with it. You ever notice how people don't question things when they think they're winning? Vanessa didn't question a thing. Not when I started packing up my office for space. Not when I let her pick the paint color for the kitchen she'd never get to keep. Not even when I handed over access to the home Wi-Fi again, like some kind of peace offering. She thought I was softening, that I was giving up. And why wouldn't she? She'd always mistaken silence for surrender. Meanwhile, my plan had a calendar. On Monday, the divorce filing would hit her inbox, blindside style. But before that, I needed one last piece. You remember Devin? Shirtless mirror selfies, motivational quotes, more biceps than brain cells? He'd been quiet lately. Vanessa said it was because he needed space. I knew better. See, cheaters tend to be like raccoons. Loud when they think no one's watching. Skittish when the lights come on. And Devin? He was halfway to the woods already. So I poked the raccoon. I created a fake LinkedIn account. Rachel Owens. Realistic. HR specialist. Blonde headshot pulled from a Shutterstock gallery. Sent Devin a message on Wednesday morning. Hi Devin. I'm part of the HR team at Claremont Commercial Properties. We've received a background inquiry related to your recent application with our firm. Can we confirm the details of your relationship with Vanessa Taylor? He responded in 10 minutes. Whoa, what? Who gave you my name? I haven't applied for anything with you guys. 2 more messages, and he started sweating. Begged Rachel to confirm who submitted the inquiry. He assumed someone was digging into him. He was right. I used his panic. That night, I logged into my burner email and sent Vanessa an anonymous message. No greeting, no threat, just a subject line. You should ask Devin about Rachel Owens. Attached, screenshots of Devin's frantic messages to Rachel, complete with timestamps, typos, and panic sweat dripping off the screen. I sent it at 9:42 p.m. At 9:48, Vanessa stomped into the kitchen barefoot, holding her phone like it owed her money. Who is Rachel? She demanded. I looked up from my laptop like I'd just been interrupted mid-crossword. Rachel who? Don't play dumb, she snapped. Devin's freaking out. He thinks someone's setting him up. Is someone? I don't know. You tell me. I tilted my head, calm as a saint. Why would I know anything about Devin's panic attacks? She blinked. You've been digging, haven't you? She asked, voice cracking. I stood slowly, walked over, and set my coffee mug down next to hers. Our mugs looked similar, but only one had poison in it. Vanessa, I said softly, you did what you wanted for over a year while I paid the bills, fixed the house, and stayed quiet. Now I'm doing what I want. And suddenly that's a problem. She didn't answer. Couldn't. Just stood there, clutching her phone like a lifeline that wasn't calling back. Friday, D-Day -3. I visited James, my lawyer, one more time. Are you sure she won't contest this? He asked. Oh, she might, I said. But if she does, she'll lose harder. He raised an eyebrow. That's bold. I have documentation. She has Pilates receipts. He smiled. Fair enough. We'll file on Monday morning. Send it to her at 9 a.m. sharp, I said. Subject line, time to sign. That weekend, I played it cool. Took out the trash. Repaired a drawer she complained about 2 months ago. Even made her pancakes Sunday morning. I don't deserve this, she mumbled, poking at them with a fork. No, she didn't. But I was making memories. The kind she'd replay in her head when she wondered how it all went so wrong so fast. Monday, 9 a.m. came with the whisper of incoming email. Vanessa was in her robe, sitting at the kitchen island, stirring sugar into coffee like nothing in her world was about to shatter. Then the ding. She checked her phone, watched her face turn from pink to gray like a paint swatch drying in real time. What the hell is this? She asked, not looking up. Divorce papers, I said, buttering toast. She blinked. What? You know, I said, still calm. That legal process where one person stops being the free meal ticket of another? You said we were working on it, she hissed. No, you said that, I replied. I smiled and nodded because I wanted you calm before the fall. She stood. You blindsided me. I looked up deadpan. No, you sideswiped us. I just installed airbags. She stormed off, phone to her ear, probably calling Celeste. Celeste wouldn't answer. Not since I'd sent her those lovely screenshots of Vanessa's texts referring to her as my cover alibi. Funny how quickly friends disappear when lawsuits become a possibility. By 10:30 a.m., Vanessa came back into the room, face flushed, voice trembling. I need a lawyer, she said. Better move quick, I replied, sliding her laptop toward her. There's a list in your inbox. I already narrowed it down to ones that don't know about the text messages. Her jaw dropped. Why are you doing this? She asked. I leaned in, finally letting the silence break with weight. Because I was married to a mask. And now that I've seen the face beneath it, I want it gone. That night, she didn't sleep in our bedroom. She stayed on the couch, curled in the fetal position, watching some reality show with dead eyes. I walked past her on the way to the kitchen, paused, then added, Oh, and Devin? I sent those screenshots to his employer. Apparently, he did apply for a job with Claremont last year. Hope he included homewrecker under special skills. She didn't even flinch. just blinked, slow and hollow. The lights were off now. The mask was gone. What sat on that couch wasn't a confident wife or a wronged woman. It was a player who just realized she'd been playing the wrong game. And the rules were mine now. Vanessa spent Tuesday whispering into phone calls she didn't want me to hear, pacing the hallway in socks like a cat stuck between doors. She spoke in fragments. Words like misrepresentation, unfair filing, and leverage. She said, "I'm not signing anything until I know what he's really after." Good. Suspicion is a slow kind of rot. And she was marinating in it now. I kept my distance. Gave her space. Acted like a man with nothing left to prove, because I was. My work was done. The house was no longer mine. The marriage had been cremated, ashes boxed, and quietly mailed to the courthouse. All that was left was the reveal. The final step. The part they never see coming. You remember the oak box? I mentioned it early on. Small, square, smooth as sin. Carved by my hands. Polished every spring out of sheer habit. Originally meant to hold cufflinks. Now it held legacy. Because inside that box, resting in black velvet, was a flash drive. And on that flash drive, a plan I'd written a year ago. Long before I knew who Devin was. Long before the Uber receipts and the deleted texts. Back when the only red flag in my life was how often she said, "You wouldn't understand," whenever I asked her about her day. The plan had a name. Chapter 2. Let me explain something about me. I'm not loud. I'm not flashy. But I am strategic. I'd been quietly buying shares of a boutique tech firm for the past 4 years. The kind that looked like a failing startup from the outside. Bad branding, bad marketing, incredible product. They specialized in custom ERP systems for manufacturers. Boring to most, but gold to me. The kicker? Their founder? An old friend. One who once told me, "If you ever want back in the game, I'll make room." I never told Vanessa about that. She thought I'd plateaued. Retired too early. Settled into comfort like it was a recliner with no eject button. But the truth? I was just lying in wait. So while Vanessa was out there racking up spa appointments and fake conference weekends, I was writing code, building structure, pouring capital into a company nobody was watching. And last month, we went live. Revenue doubled. And I became majority owner, quietly, legally, and with zero trace leading back to the accounts she once had access to. The best part? All of this sat behind a trust. One she had already signed away rights to when she agreed, in writing, that any venture created during our period of legal separation will not be considered joint marital property. That clause was in the letter I handed her at the cabin, the one she folded like a truce. She never read it. Not carefully. And now, Chapter 2 was mine. All mine. Wednesday morning, she came into the kitchen looking like someone who hadn't slept. Her robe was wrinkled. Her eyes were red. She poured coffee and didn't speak for a full minute. Then, finally, "I want to renegotiate." I looked up from my eggs. "Sorry. The divorce," she said. "I'm not signing the agreement. It's lopsided. You're walking away with too much." I wiped my mouth. Set the fork down. "Vanessa," I said, slow and clear. "You signed off on it already. That was before I knew what you were doing." "What am I doing?" I asked. "You're planning something," she said. "You've been calm. Too calm. You want the house, the accounts, and God knows what else." I smiled faintly. "You're right," I said. "I do want something else." She leaned in slightly, eyes narrowing. "What?" I stood, walked to the counter, picked up the oak box, and placed it between us like a relic. "This," I said. She looked at it like it might bite her. "What's in it?" "Chapter 2, I said. "The part where you don't get to rewrite the story." She reached for it, but I didn't let go. I opened it myself, pulled out the flash drive, set it on the granite. "This is a business I built while you were busy playing dress up with a man who still wears leather bracelets." She flushed. "It's registered under a trust you legally disclaimed interest in. I have it notarized, time-stamped, and backed up. 3 times. You're bluffing." "Am I?" I slid a document across the counter. The trust agreement. Her signature. Dated, stamped, and smiling at me like poetic justice. She stared at it. "You're vindictive," she whispered. "No. I'm done. That's not revenge. That's clarity. And clarity doesn't owe you a second chance." She stared down at the trust for a long time, then slowly looked up. "So that's it?" "No," I said. "That's not it." She didn't know this next part. I wasn't just building a new company. I was moving. 2 states away. Had a lease already signed. A quiet house near a lake. And I'd offered a job to someone else I hadn't spoken to in a while, my sister. The one Vanessa never liked. The one who saw through her from day one. I even had a lawyer working on a post-divorce non-contact clause. Nothing aggressive. Just enough to keep her from calling every time Devin ghosted her or her mom forgot her birthday. I wasn't just leaving the marriage. I was leaving the version of myself that tolerated it. That night, she cried. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just quietly, in the hallway outside the room I used to sleep in. She probably thought I couldn't hear her. But I did. And I felt nothing. Not because I'd stopped being human, but because I'd finally started being honest with myself. You don't get to spend a year pretending I'm invisible, then ask me to rescue you from the fire you set. She burned the house down. I just took the blueprints and built somewhere better. People like Vanessa don't go quietly. They don't accept defeat. They don't self-reflect. They retaliate. And retaliate she did. 2 days after the trust reveal, I came home to a letter on the counter. Pink stationery. Rose-scented. You can't take everything from me. She'd hired a lawyer. Not a good one, but a loud one. The kind that markets with billboards and slogans like, "We don't settle, we win." They sent me a revised request demanding partial ownership of future income streams potentially derived from marital support structures, which is a long-winded way of saying she wanted a piece of the business she didn't know existed until it was too late. But here's the thing about building in silence. It creates noise only when it's too late to stop it. My legal team, real lawyers, took exactly 1 business day to respond. Denied. Legally, conclusively, and publicly. The trust was ironclad. The judge wasn't amused either. Apparently, seeing her demand profits from a business created during a separation she signed off on didn't sit well with the bench. The official court statement was one for the books. This is not an equitable request. It is an opportunistic one. Vanessa showed up to the next hearing dressed like a widow. I showed up with receipts. That should have been the end. But cheaters like Vanessa, they don't want justice. They want audience. With the legal route shut down, she pivoted to the only weapon she had left. Reputation. She started telling people I cheated, that I'd emotionally manipulated her, that I was controlling, that I gaslit her for years. The usual greatest hits from the guilty playlist. She posted vague quotes about narcissism and betrayal. Even changed her relationship status online to healing broken heart. Cute. But here's the catch. Vanessa didn't realize something. I was always recording. Not out of paranoia. Just habit. Conversations, voicemails, call logs. I had saved everything. Every deflection. Every lie. Every time she told me he's just a friend. And more importantly, every time she admitted it. I compiled them into a single video. 5 minutes long. Just dialogue. No music. No effects. A timeline. From, "I'd never cheat on you," to "Devin says he loves me more." I never posted it. That would have been petty. Instead, I sent it to exactly 4 people. Her mother. Her closest friend, Celeste. Her new lawyer. And Devin. Not with a threat. Just a subject line. For context. The fallout was instant. Her mother pulled financial support. Celeste blocked her. Her lawyer dropped her. And Devin? He ghosted her entirely. I'd moved out by then. New state. New house. New morning routine. You know what silence tastes like when you've lived in chaos? It tastes like freedom. I'd wake up, walk to the lake, drink black coffee, and not wonder if someone was lying behind a smile. I didn't check her socials anymore. Didn't care what she was posting. But one morning, I got a letter. Handwritten. No return address. Inside, I didn't expect to lose everything. I thought you loved me too much to let me fall. There was no apology. Just a statement of surprise. Like watching gravity work for the first time. I didn't respond. Not out of spite. Just because she didn't get to use my attention anymore. But I kept the letter. Not because I cared, but because it was proof. Proof that when given the rope, she climbed it right into the noose. Now, here's what you didn't see coming. Not even Vanessa did. I told you I built a company, right? A tech firm. Quiet. Niche. Profitable. Well, 6 months after the divorce was finalized, I sold it. Not for millions. For tens of millions. Turns out, the firm we used to license our back-end software, they were scouting us. They made an offer I didn't expect. I countered. They accepted. And just like that, I became rich in the one way Vanessa never saw coming. Without her fingerprints on a single cent. Now here's the best part. Before the sale went public, I made one last move. I launched a foundation. A nonprofit under my late father's name. dedicated to helping men navigate high-conflict divorces and recover from emotional abuse. I funded it with 10% of the sale. And the name? Chapter 2. I trademarked it, made it public, got press coverage. Vanessa's name was never mentioned. But the story? The spirit of it? Clear as day. The woman who thought she could ruin me for sport became the cautionary tale for others just like me. I haven't heard from her since. Last I checked, she moved in with her sister. Works part-time at a home decor store. Still posts quotes. Still healing from a wound she gave herself. As for me, I don't hate her. I don't love her either. She was just a detour. An expensive lesson with great returns. But if you're wondering what the real revenge was, it wasn't money. It wasn't exposure. It wasn't even peace. It was that one moment, quiet and clean, when I walked past her in court, papers in hand, and smiled. And she looked up like she still had a chance. And I didn't say a word.